One question that we often see about storytelling techniques is how to use emotion. That's a pretty big one. So we're going to let Misako start off.
Emotion I use it as an agent to connect audience and me. Speakers, storytellers are not above the audience. We are there to serve them, to provide ideas, to tell them my emotions so they can connect to, they can relate to my emotions. Then they can know I'm not Google. I'm a human being just like you. They can think about, oh, she was sad. Oh, okay, yeah, I can relate to that. Oh, she can angry. Yeah, she's right. Then we can start storytelling into the message very, very smoothly. So that's how I use the emotion. But showing emotion is a tricky element for me. You both have seen me when I was still practicing. Sometimes emotion takes over you. And I was completely drowned by my own emotion and completely forgot I was there to serve the audience. I was just too busy dealing with my emotions. To avoid that, you can still remember you are there to serve them. There are techniques, and there will be another video with interesting techniques and funny techniques we will introduce you. But emotion is an agent to connect your audience and you. You can be there in their story too. The audience will think about their stories and you are talking to them at the same stage. That's my take. So what do you think of it, Tim?
Well, Misako, you're exactly right. And what you were describing was the relatability of the emotion to your audience. And this is something that will help you capture your audience even more, is when you can present yourself with your emotion in a relatable manner. For example, if I were to tell you that in a story that I am a parent, that will elicit a certain kind of an emotion. If I were to describe it as I am a parent of a 4-year-old daughter, well, you may have had a 4-year-old daughter at one time, or you may be having a daughter, soon to be, or soon to be parent. There will be different kinds of emotions based on some of the details of which I've described as this piece of being the emotion that's attached with being a parent of a 4-year-old daughter. And if I were to further describe it as I am the parent of a 4-year-old daughter who is frustrated because I cannot keep their attention for long periods of time because they're drawn to the television set. Well, again, I'm adding on to the emotion of the feeling I have of wanting to build that connection with my daughter and unable to do so because of something that's distracted. And now the story takes on a new feeling within the audience because there's a relatability to people who have children or who interact with children and are unable to get their attention for one way or another. And so this is something that you need to understand, is that the more that you can describe that emotional feeling, the more that you can draw your audience in with the details of what it is that you're feeling. And Misako, you mentioned a few, whether it was anger or sadness, there's happiness and frustration and surprise, all these different types of feelings and elements that you can build into your story so that your audience really understands that emotional journey that you're on and will want to join you as you tell the story.
I would add also that the more you relive your experiences while you're telling the story, the better you'll convey actual and real emotions. The challenge, of course, is not to, with very strong emotions, particularly that can elicit a lot of, say, sadness or fear, or very intense emotions, you could get overly caught up, and that can distract the audience a little bit. There's kind of a fine line. I've given speeches where I was literally reliving a moment where I was witnessing a shootout in South America, and I was thinking about what I would miss if I weren't around anymore. And I thought of my family. And while I gave the speech, it got fairly emotional, and I think that was effective. But sometimes I wonder if maybe a little too effective.
Well, I don't know that you can be too effective because we certainly want to draw them in. But you're right, Oscar. There's a piece of storytelling when you're drawing out that emotion. One key is to have contrast. If you're having a story that is going to have sadness as part of it, you're going to want to bring your audience back to the happiness. If you have a story that talks about anger, you may want to consider ending it with relief. Again, just to have that contrast so that your audience is not stuck in despair. They know that you have come out on the other side as a better person, and they want to go on the journey with you so that they understand things are better once we've gone through that emotional journey.
That's a great point. Also, when you are talking about your happiness, I'm so very happy. There's a fine line between blogging and I'm just so happy. Don't forget to bring your audience so they can be happy like you. Give them the reason why they can do it. If I can do it, they can do it. Provide the reason for your happiness when you're showing the emotion of happiness and excitement. That is one tip I always try to remember.